I'm Bobby, and I'm a motorboat son of a bitch.
Welcome to the dark side. That's motor vessel, the dark side. She's a 1997 Hatteras 52 that's been customized and extended 8 feet by adding an aft cockpit and swim deck. She has 3 cabins and 3 heads, and is capable of making 20 knots, but is much happier at 15 knots, and its most economical cruise is about 10 knots. It's my first foray into the motor yacht side of things, so hopefully you guys like it. Now let's take a tour.
So a lot has changed since all the Belize videos. I talked about it at the end of the last video. You want to know what I've done with Naughty Dogs. I sold it and all the information about that. But this is the new boat, so I'm pretty excited about it. Thank you all you guys for sticking around and watching. I talked it over to the patrons first. They're okay with doing the power boat thing. And actually there's a lot of people that are excited about it, kind of show you the different sides. I don't think there's too many people doing the whole motorboating thing out there. And so thought I'd give it a shot and see if you guys like it. I will still be doing some sailing though, so I've already got a couple boats lined up, so don't worry about that. But I'm gonna give you a tour right now of this boat. So we'll start you out on the bow of the boat here. This is the windlass. It is a galley made windlass. It's a pretty strong windlass. And then it's got 2 anchors up here. They're both Danforths. One's a Fortress. The other one's aluminum. Really not that great. The other one is a pretty nice one, but I'm changing both of those out. Unfortunately, it's only got 1/4 inch chain, which for a boat this size is very small. So I've ordered a new gypsy for the windlass, which is the little plate that the chain locks into as you come up. I am changing out the 1/4 for 3/8 inch chain. I just got to get the new gypsy, which I've actually already ordered. Hopefully it'll be here next week, and get 300 feet of 3/8 inch chain. And I've got a new Mantis anchor, should be here today actually. It's a Mantis M2, 120 pounds, so it's really big and beefy, and it should do really well holding. I'm pretty excited about it. And I'll get rid of the aluminum Danforth, and then the one that's there now, I'll make that as my secondary, put it up there. And it does have foot pedals up front here, and then I can actually also control the windlass from the helm station up there. The foredeck up here, lots of space for hanging out. When you're underway, it might get a little splashy. Maybe you're not hanging out there too much unless you're going following seas, but it's got places for all the fenders here. The little rings here is for the fenders. 2 of these boxes here that are bolted down to the deck and just storing, like in one we got all the lines and then all the cleaning products and all that stuff. And this side, of course, the life raft up front, and then the Sailing Doodles bean bags. They're sold out right now. It's not that mine were sold out, just the product in general is sold out. So, but you can go to sailingdoodles.com and find where you can do some shopping if you'd like. Pretty cool stuff there. This is a panoramic window here. I've just got the cover on it right now because I just actually had to pull this glass out to get the door in the back is pretty small, and so I wanted to replace the refrigerator, and I did replace the refrigerator. It was kind of failing, so I had to pull this glass out and pull the old refrigerator out through the window. I'll show you this when we get inside, and then put the new one in, so kind of a lot of work. Then let's go aft here. Nice little foredeck for hanging out. But let's go aft down the little sideway here. Lots of space for walking by, pretty nice. These doors right here that we're coming through right now are a little tight, so I mean, no problem for me. If you're a bigger guy, it might be an issue. Maybe you have to go sideways unless you're a really bigger guy. So coming into here is the aft salon. This is where I do a lot of my hanging out in here. It's a really nice spot, really comfortable. So this whole thing is an enclosure. These windows on the side open up, and then these, obviously these open up as well. And they actually make a pretty good seal. So if it's raining, all that keeps all the rain out and everything. And then the front, these little doors also close. And coming up here, we'll show you that. That's like to the helm area, the bridge. But it's kind of the cool thing in here is that this is an air conditioner right here. So, if I wanted to, if it was really hot or still wanted to hang out here, you could close all this up and turn the air conditioner on, and it would be nice and cool up here. So, it's pretty nice. I mean, in here you got ice maker and refrigerator here, so keep the beer in there. I just installed this TV on the little pole there. Already watched the Indy 500 out here, so it was kind of cool. And then of course I made my scuba tank racks here. Don't have a dive compressor yet. It's on its way, again from Mantis Marine. Check those guys out. And I'll install that down on the cockpit area back there, but I'll show you that in a little bit. Over here by the refrigerator out here is a wet bar, and then of course you got cups and plates and all that. And then, your hard liquor and stuff is all in there. So you can sit here and make a cocktail. You got your ice maker right there. It's a pretty cool place for hanging out. Out here I did replace the speakers with Fusion speakers, and I installed a subwoofer here. So this is really, I think, where the main kind of entertainment and socializing area is going to be. All right, coming down here into the cockpit, this is one of the unique things about this boat. I don't know of any other Hatteras 52s that have had it done. Of course, I haven't looked either, but this is not standard on a Hatteras 52. Hatteras 52, most of them end right here, and they have just like a little swim platform on the back that somebody added on. This whole section back here was added on. They extended the boat by 8 feet. I believe it was done, it wasn't done in the factory, but when it was delivered, it was modified to its first owner in 1997. This is a 2-owner boat. There was a guy in 97, he had it for a couple years, and then the owner before me bought it in 99, and it's been in his family since 99. So under here is another generator. So stock, they come with a 20 kilowatt, and that lives in the engine bay. And then there is a 13 kilowatt Onan added here, which is great because it's still big enough. 13 kilowatts is plenty big enough to power everything on the boat. And if I need to have it worked on or replaced or anything, it's right there. It's so easy to pull in and out. I mean, so, you know, if I had to replace that 20 kilowatt in there, I mean, I got to pull up the whole floor, and then it's got to go out a window. I mean, it's really bare to get in and out. This way, it's a lot easier. And that on the other side is just storage, which is really nice. There's more water tanks and fuel tanks in here. It carries an extra 300 gallons of fuel on top of what normally comes, which is about 1,000 gallons. Under all these cabinets is more storage for like snorkels and fins and scuba gear and all that. And then again in here you also have a little wet bar right here. If you're fishing or something like that, you need to wash your hands, there you go. This area back here is really nice for fishing because that's kind of what it was made for. And then of course more storage in here, and you can control the underwater lights from in here, which is cool too. And then these speakers are new on each side. I replaced them because the old ones weren't working, they were just old. But the really cool thing about this boat is that you have aft controls here. You can control both motors and the windlass and the bow thruster, which is really cool. You can stop and start the motors too if you need to. And because if you're trying to dock back here, I mean, from up there, you can't see back here. You can't see the back of the boat. So when you're docking, it's really easy to do this. And on these boats, really, when you're docking, you don't use the rudder. I mean, you just use differential thrust. That's an airplane term, right? And then the bow thruster, that's how you back this thing in. I've only done it once so far coming in here. It was a little bit of a side wind, a little squirrely, but I made it. Especially these are concrete docks down here in Puerto Rico, so they can be unforgiving if you mess up. So now let's go up into the bridge area, so where all the controls for everything are. And just a little inside, little bit of information, guys. So one time, years ago, I bought a pair of white sunglasses just on a whim, gas station sunglasses, whatever. I needed some sunglasses and I bought some white ones. In the video, there were so many just like negative comments, like bad. I mean, you can't say this stuff in 2021, you know? I mean, you can't say those kind of things anymore. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna make it my thing. So now I only wear white sunglasses to troll the trolls back. So all you guys that leave comments about how much you hate the white sunglasses or they make me look words that I'm not even gonna say, I'm doing it just to annoy you. This is the helm area of the boat. It's got the 2 captain's chairs there and then seating around here on the other side as well. Pretty much great view everywhere except for behind you, which is why you need the controls down there in the cockpit area. Because here you have the dinghy, which has a little mount up here and it's ratchet strapped down. And then that right there is a davit arm, basically a crane, a hydraulic crane with a winch in it that runs over, picks up the dinghy, and then drops it in the water. So I think it's rated to 1,500 pounds. Looking forward, it's got an older dinghy on it right now with I think it's a 15 horse motor. I'm gonna replace that, get a new high field again. I'm excited about that. They're such quality boats and I really enjoyed the last one, so, but it's gonna be months until that's ready, so. Here we are with this. This right now, I bought a new radar for it because the old unit is not working. So that's kind of what I've been doing up here, is replacing all the, well, not all, yeah, it was quite updated some, but I will show you. This is like the radio side over here. This had old school, I don't even know who makes this stuff, Sea Hail or something. I mean, these are original 1997 radios. So there were 2 or 3 more radios in here, old ones. This is still the VHF. I'm not sure if it works, or the HF, I'm sorry. I'm not sure if it works. I pulled all that stuff out and I put an ICOM unit in here, and underneath it I added AIS. And so now it has AIS and a new radio, and it works pretty well. And then what I did is I just got a piece of plywood, just, you know, 1/8 inch plywood, and cut it out to fit this area, and then cut my holes as needed, painted it black and screwed it in, so now it looks pretty good, I think. This is the main helm station here. You got all your engine instruments on both sides here. I've already had to replace the port side engine temp gauge. Got a little scare the first time I took it out. After 4 or 5 hours, the temperature just started going up, 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 and I'm like, it was 200, which is really bad for these motors. You don't want it to get that high. So I ended up shutting that engine down and limped back into port on one engine. Ended up just the gauge was bad because it's got another gauge down in the engine room, which I'll show you. And so check that out, and it was reading normal. Replace this gauge, now it reads normal, so just a little scare. The tacks here are really old, and the LCD screens have burned out. There's a guy in Florida, I believe, that can replace them. I just haven't had time to. I just got to pull them out and put them in. They work, but you can only like read them in the dark. And then what I kind of ideally what I would like to do eventually is, but it's so expensive. So basically, you can pull all the information that goes into this tack, like the fuel flow and RPM and all that stuff. I mean, it does have mechanical tack too, so that's okay. I mean, that's how I normally use it, or I can use it, or am using it now. The digital's not working, obviously. But you can get a unit that will hook it into the boat network, and then you can pull up, what I plan on doing is having like this chart plotter, you know, multifunction display will be all my engine instruments, right? I'll have all the engine stuff going on there to record the gallons per hour, be real accurate on how much fuel I'm using and how much I've got left and all that. You know, this one will be like, you know, radar or something like that. And then I've installed this new one over here as well, which will be, you know, navigation and all that. This is kind of the new version, 9-inch, a little bit bigger. And then the same thing over here. So it used to have giant, an old school like laser nav chart plotter, which was massive. And then an old school radar from the 90s as well. So I mean, a big, not LED or LCD screens like this, they were, you know, big CRT tubes and all that. So I pulled all that stuff out, put in the new stuff. The boat has 2 networks on it. It's got the NMEA 2000, which is the modern standard, which everything uses. And then it's got the NMEA 180-0183 or something like that. So the depth and the wind and all that works on the old system, and I know you can hook it into the new system. I just haven't done it yet. I'm just going to change all that stuff over to the new system eventually. Here is the transmission for each engine. You got forward and reverse, and then your throttles over here. It does have engine sync, so basically you can just control it with the left throttle to make both engines follow each other, which is pretty cool, and it keeps it from, you know, you know what I mean? If you've ever been in a twin engine airplane or twin engine boat, if the engines are out of sync, it just makes that weird noise. So this doesn't do that. And it's also, I can control the windlass from up here as well, and bilge pumps, and start and stop the motors, and all that stuff. It does have stabilizers too. So there's 2 little fins that stick off on either side of the boat, and with the stabilizers on, they trim up and down. Which, so if the boat's going to port, it trims the port side up, right? And so it brings it back up. If the boat's going to starboard, it trims the starboard one up and the port one down, and that way it keeps you from rolling too much, which is really cool. And those actuators were just replaced. All right, so that is the outside of the boat. Let's take you down below into the main salon, and you can check out the inside, and then we'll get to the engine room eventually. This is the main salon. Lots of space in here. Done a few upgrades on it as well. While we're doing this, I'll put some before and after photos up, or videos up. So this had all carpet, but having carpet in your main salon and your galley area, I just don't like doing that, even in houses, right? I mean, you just track so much crap in there. So I got a quote to have all the linoleum in here done, and the galleys and the bathrooms, and it was like $10,000. I was like, are you kidding me for that? So I went to Home Depot and bought the stuff myself and did it for $350. So I put all this flooring in and did all the trim and everything. But it's nice in here. I did some LED lights here that can be controlled and make them different colors, so you know, it's kind of cool at night. Under all these couches here, that's all storage. So this is all the beer under that couch, and then you got tools and stuff everywhere else. Back in this wall right here was the audio video thing. It had an old school like 20-inch CRT TV, and it had an old stack of like DVD and tape players and stuff like that. So pulled all that stuff out, put a fusion system in with an amp, and then put another TV here that's on a swivel. And luckily I just found this board at Home Depot that pretty much matches the wall color, and just put it on there. So Now it's Bluetooth. I can control it from the phone and all that, so it's pretty cool. And new carpet on the stairs, and then down into the cabins and in the hallways. That's all new. This is your main like power distribution panel under here. Behind here are your actual generator controls. You got your transfer switch here, and then down below is the actual panel where you can control both generators. So the 20 kilowatt lives in the engine bay, and then the 13 lives in the aft section. I prefer running the aft one. It's quieter in here. Behind this chair is, and don't worry, I put little things under all the furniture, not the slidey kind, but the kind that make them not slide, and it won't scratch anything up. Back under here, I believe this is your main AC panel, and then on the other side you have your main DC panel. Just the design of this boat, I mean, this boat was really designed to always either have a generator running or hooked up to shore power. I'd like to change that eventually. I believe I can fit maybe at least 2,000, maybe even 3,000 kilowatts of solar on the deck up top, and then get, you know, a nice big battery bank, maybe some lithium ions, you know, a nice big bank that can run most of the boat, and then inverter chargers to be able to handle that. I know I won't be able to run air conditioners and stuff. I mean, maybe you can, you get it big enough, but I'd like to be able to make this an off-grid boat where I don't have to depend on running a generator all the time, even at anchor. Let's go down into the galley. It needs a little bit of updating. I've already done some of that. So this refrigerator is new. The old one worked, but it wasn't getting quite cold and it was running all the time. It was just a matter of time till it failed. It was really hard getting it out that window, and then getting this one in. It was actually hard to find a refrigerator this size. It does have a trash compactor. I don't use it. I'd eventually like to replace that with a dishwasher, but again, finding one, like they do make 18-inch wide dishwashers, which is what I will do, but I mean, finding one of those down here in Puerto Rico is pretty much impossible. You have to special order it and it takes weeks and I don't have time. So, but I'd like to replace both of these eventually, just to modernize them. This works fine, I'm not real worried about that. This I would, but again, it's an oddball size, and trying to find that stuff, you have special order down here. In the States, you just go to Lowe's or something and they'll have it the next day. Here, you can't really do it. It's nice, usable galley, and I just love having, I mean, look at this, I mean, a nice big freezer, you know? I mean, it's pretty nice. Quick tip, when you buy pasta, put it in the freezer for like 2 or 3 days before you put it in your pantry. It'll kill all the weevils and stuff that are in it, so that you don't have a weevil infestation. Underneath this floor panel here is the water maker. I don't want to pull up the floor panel, I just don't want to bother with it. So that's where it lives, and it does work. Tested it out. On the other side over here is basically, I mean, it is your dining area, but I use it for my office. I mean, we can eat there, but mostly if I eat either up on the main salon or outside salon or the inside salon. So I've started recording podcasts again. So recorded one, put it out the other day. So check out the Sailing Doodles, or the Sailing Doodles podcast, or the Doodles podcast. I think just Google the Sailing Doodles podcast, and it'll come up. You got video versions on YouTube or audio wherever you get your podcasts, iTunes or you know, Spotify, whatever. It's everywhere. iHeartRadio, I believe. All right, so we'll go forward down here into the VIP cabin. It is a queen bed, or almost queen bed. It's just a little rounded at the edges there. Semi walk around, and it's pretty nice and comfortable. It has its own air conditioning unit up here, so it's got 4 zones, or 4 air conditioning units. So one up here, one for the salon, one for the aft cabins, and then one outside for the outdoor salon. And then so you got your hanging locker here, nice good size. You got more cabinets and drawers on each side, and then it has its own private head here, which you know, shower and toilet, and all the toilets here are vacuum flush. So there's these little knobs that you pull in each bathroom to turn them on, and it starts the vacuum, and then when you flush it, it vacuum flushes out, and it's got like a 120-gallon holding tank, so you can go a long time, and then, you know, get more than 3 miles offshore, and that's when you dump or have it pumped out. One thing I forgot to mention, I just got these seagulls from Aquastar Distributors. Go check them out. These are water purification system, saved our butt. They're really, literally, I mean, because we got sick a couple times with water. They sent us this stuff. I haven't installed them yet, but it's a water purifier. It goes down to like 2 microns or a micron or something like that. Anyway, works pretty well. So I got this one for drinking water on the faucet, and then this one will be hooked in line to the ice maker so that we're getting clean ice too. You gotta think about that. Okay, going aft, one thing I forgot to mention, it does have a washer and dryer. It's just a stack unit right here. It's kind of an older unit. Unfortunately, it's one of those things that, like, if you want to replace this, basically you gotta take that window out. So basically, if it breaks, you have somebody come and fix it in place. All right, let's go down aft into the aft cabins here. It's got 2 more cabins back here. On this side is, well, right now it's just my junk room, but 2 bunks, and it's got another hanging locker, which I'm storing the scuba gear in right now. It's a bit messy in here. It's all my tools, camera gear, and all that. And then right across from it is its own head. It's kind of like, you know, if everybody's just socializing, whatever, this would be the head that's used. It's pretty big in here. I've replaced all the flooring on it as well. Got its own shower. Let's continue aft into the master stateroom here, which is nice. It has a full-size queen walk-around bed, which is really nice. Plenty of storage, all these cabinets on either side, and it's just really nice. LED lights. It's got its own air conditioner back here. And you know, it used to have a little 12-inch TV that I pulled out. Now it's towel storage, put this thing in, and it's got its own like walk-in closet. I mean, look at this. You can actually get inside this closet, which is pretty cool. So lots of storage. You know, it's really, it's pretty nice. It's pretty nice over here. And then over here, it's got its own private head, which has a bathtub in it. I mean, it's huge. You know, I replaced all the tile on it too. It's just a really comfortable and cozy spot back here. Okay, so we only have one more space to show you on the boat, and that would be the engine and equipment room. Access to the engine room is under these stairs right here. So you pull this up, hook it on there. So crawling into the engine room here, I mean, there's obviously for any engine room, it's gonna be tight in there, but it's not a bad space. It's got the twin V8 92 series Detroit diesel turbocharged motors that are 720 horsepower each. Here they are right here. Oh man, that guy forgot to, and my mechanic forgot to close the oil filler cap. That's good. So I've never been just a real big engine guy. I mean, I'm not knowledgeable about them. I can do enough to be dangerous, I guess, but twin turbocharged on each one, man. These things put out a lot of horsepower. At idle, at like 800 or 600 RPM, this thing will do 6 knots. And it doesn't, but you're not really supposed to run it that low. 800 RPM is manufacturer's minimum RPM for long-term use. If you run them at about 1200 RPM, which gives you about 15 gallons an hour, 7 on each side plus 1 for the generator, will give you about 10 and a half knots. So I think that's going to be my normal cruise on these is 1200 RPMs, which will give me 10 knots, which is the most fuel economical way to get around. So it's got your air conditioner chillers on the other side over there. It's got battery banks on the other side, and the holding tank is forward in another bay. And then the 20 kilowatt generator lives up front as well. Well, there you have it, guys. Welcome to the dark side. So I did name it the dark side. I think it's appropriate. Go into the dark side, see how the other half lives. Let me know what you think in the comments. Hopefully you guys like this. You know, it's an experiment. Why not try it? You know what I mean? I think, you know, a lot of people maybe that dream about doing this life, maybe they don't want to. I mean, sailing is physically taxing, you know, it can be. So we'll see how this goes. Maybe it'll be a new adventure for some of you guys too, see the other side. And you know, I'll keep sailing though. We got other boats lined up to sail on, and maybe I'll eventually go back to a sailboat, but giving this a shot for now. So thank you guys for watching. Please click the like and subscribe button. Check out the Doodles podcast if you don't mind. And we're about to take this thing out on the water. It's really cool. So I got Amanda coming back. She'll be here in just a couple days. And Taylor's coming back. She's just coming for a little while. She's got her own channel. Check it out too. But thank you guys for watching. And we'll see you out on the water.